We are on Zavim Perek Bet Mishnah Bet. Second Mishnah in the second chapter of Masechet Zavim. Now I have to say, as an introduction to this Mishnah, I actually, after learning this Mishnah quite a few times, I think this is an incredibly important Mishnah, like tucked in the second chapter of Masechet Zavim. That we don't keep Zavim, we have no idea we don't really understand Ziva, but I think there's a critical line about Mishnah, about the halachic concept, how halacha works, how rabbis work, that we'll see in the Mishnah, which I think is really, really significant. So we're learning Ziva, we're learning the halacha of Zav, and to understand the halacha of Zav, so we need to see a pasuk in the Torah. Go back to a pasuk in the Torah. We're learning the first pasuk of Hilchot Ziva. We say, Dabru b'nei Yisrael v'yamar lehem, tell the Jewish people, Ish ish ki zav. Oh, I lost that. Sorry about that. Ish ish ki zav mibsaro. The flow mibsaro, from his flesh, and it's a kind of we think. I think it's a kind of illness. It has to be from mibsaro. The flow comes from his flesh. Now the Bartunur, let's look at the Bartunur for a second to explain. Okay, it says zav mibsaro. It has to come from bsaro. Okay, not eno mitame machmat onus. But it's not for some other reason. If the emission is caused by some external reason, and therefore he's not tameh. So it could be. So how do you know if it's an emission from zav mibsaro, from sort of like a rotting in his flesh, basar mate? But what that really means is that it's from some kind of illness or some kind of other thing, or it's from onus. It was coerced. It's a seminal emission of some kind. So Mishnah says, "B'shiv'a drachim bodkim et hazav, ad shelo nizkak leziva." So there are 7 areas that you check the zav, ad shelo nizkak leziva, until he's nizkak required for ziva. And what the Bartunura says that means is, Dahainu kshero'eh ri'iyah shniya shubahu na'aseh zav letamei mishkav u'moshav. Remember we said, let's go back to our chart for a second. So we said, remember there are ri'iyot. First ri'iyah, so Beit Shammai says mishkav and Moshe, but Behil says Balkari. We pass him like Beit Hillel, so he's tamei like a Balkari. The second one, he's tamei mishkav and Moshe according to Beit Shammai, Beit Hillel, and he has to count Shiva and Akiyim. That's real tuma. So the real time that we check, the first one is only a Balkari. So whatever, you go to the mikveh at night, everyone, that's fine. We don't really care about. But the second one, we're going to see, by the way, the first bidika we care about for other reasons. But the second bidika, the second time, we're like, whoa, 1 second. What caused this re'iyah? That's what he means. Shiroa re'iyah shniya. Then we're going to have go to the doctor, rabbi doctor, and he's going to interview him and find out, well, what is this really ziva or not? The first riyah, the mitame be'ones tumat erev. Even if it is be'ones, even if we find out that it's something happened and that's why he saw it, nonetheless he's tumat erev kedin ba'al keri, and therefore umitzarefet im shniya, and it counts. If you see a second one, the first one counts whether it was ones or not, as we'll see in a second. Okay, so the Mishnah says, b'shiva drachim bodkin et zav. You examine the zav 7 ways. Ashelo iskak leziva. Okay, before you nizkak leziva, until you make him obligated in ziva, make him tameh. What are the 7 ways? B'ma'achal. What did you eat? Did you eat a ton of food? Did you eat fatty foods or what have you? Do you eat unnecessary, like foods that are going to make you have some kind of emission? Okay, if you ate heavy foods, fatty foods, the Bartunura says, milk foods, cheese, eggs, old wine, stuff like that. B'mishteh, did you drink a ton? B'masai, did you carry some great weight that would cause you to have some kind of mission? B'kfitzah, did you jump? B'choli, are you ill? B'mar'eh, okay, did you see, and then let's see for a second the Bartunura, b'mar'eh. Okay, mar'eh, ra'a isha, did you see a woman? Afilu lireh, you didn't have some kind of improper thoughts. Were you looking at women? Ubihirur, were you thinking about women? Meaning, is this ziva, or maybe it's a seminal emission, you don't really realize it. Or, here, ad shelo ra'a, osha ra'a ad shelo here. Right? Did you think, if you didn't see a woman, or you saw a woman even though you didn't think about it? Rabbi Akiva says, afilu ra'a behema, if you see behema chayava, if you see animals or birds, mit askim zeim ze, engaged in coupling. Afilu ra'a bigdei tseva isha, even if you saw the color of a woman's colored clothing, that'll, they lived in a apparently very segregated society where women's sexuality was kept under wraps. Not like today's society. Rabbi Akiva says, "Afilu achal kol ma'achal." No matter what you eat, any food, bein ra bein yafeh, whether it's good food or bad food or good food, shata kol mashkeh, or you drank any drink. So now we come to the line. This Rabbi Akiva is far-reaching. Akiva says, I don't care what you eat. If you eat anything, no matter what, that's ones. That's not ziva. So they said, Amru lo, the Chachamim said to him, En kan zavin me'ata. Me'ata, from this, then there's en kan zavin. There's no zavin at all. Meaning, Rabbi Akiva, you're legislating ziva out. Because basically you're saying, let's go back to our thing here. By the time a person gets to the second re'iyah, so you go to the doctor, and the doctor will say, well, did you eat any food? And they'll say, well, yeah, I ate bread. Oh, you ate bread. Well, then that's not ziva. Then that's re'iyah me'ones. So they said to Rabbi Akiva, if you are right, en kan zavin me'ata, there's no zavin. I think this might be maybe my favorite line in Shas. Amar lehem, said Rabbi Akiva, en achrayut zavin aleichem. The responsibility for zavim is not your problem. It's not on you, the responsibility for zavim. This is the bartuner for a second. V'im lo yu zavim me'olam. If there's no ziva at all, ever, ma'atem choshishim. What are you worried about? Halok lo kibaltem achrayut shel zavim aleichem. You didn't take the responsibility for the zavim on you. Now the Bartanura says we don't pass in neither like Rabbi Yehuda or Rabbi Akiva, but that line is so unbelievable. Like I don't know if you might feel I'm making too much of it, but it's unbelievable to me. En achrayut zavim aleichem. You don't have the responsibility for the zavim, so what do you care whether you're going to be machmir? And one gets the sense Rabbi Akiva is like, I have the responsibility for the zavim, and so why are you making somebody tamei? And remember also, they're talking about all these Mishnayot are after Churban Habayit. There's no Biyat HaMikdash. The stakes are different, but essentially what Rabbi Akiva is doing is he's legislating through the halacha Zavim or Zav Gamor out of existence, and he's admitting it, and he's saying exactly why. Like there's then there's no Zavim. And he's like, so what? What do you care? That's not your problem. Anyway, the halacha doesn't follow Rabbi Akiva, but it really instructs. Probably, I don't know, you'd have to do historically, about Rabbi Akiva himself and his personality and how he saw halacha and flexibility to adapt to needs of the communities. And I said to my wife when I was telling about this Mishnah, it's not a wonder how Rabbi Akiva became such a popular religious leader. I mean, it might be a little different than the Rabbi Akiva that you picture in your mind. Anyway, Mishin Nizkak Leziva Ein Bod Kinota. That is only once a person before he's Nizkak, established as, I don't know, try to zakuk, established or associated with ziva. But once he's a zav, ein bod kinoto. Then by the third time, meaning if you did the bedika, not according to Rabbi Akiva, but you did the bedika, once achash ra'a riyah shniya shaloban, once he has a second riyah, and now he's tamei doing the shiva nekiim, so then ein bod kinoto. Then you don't. That's he's already now. He's there. V'im ra'a riyah shlishit ba'ones. If he says the third one, he's like, that time I ate 3 whole pizzas. No, na'aseh zav l'korban. That doesn't work, okay? And even if he saw b'iyah b'zo b'shiva nekiyim, right? Nonetheless, said once he's established that he has zikuk, leziva, then you don't check him. Ansa usveko shichvat zaro mitameim. Then even ansa, if he's an onus in that case, or sveko, we're not sure. V'shichvat zaro, and if he has seminal lemisha and then a ziva connected to it, those are tameim. Shiraglaim l'davar. Raglaim l'davar, it has legs. Once we know that he has an association with ziva, then the third time he says zav. Now, Ra'ah Riyah Rishonah Bodkim. We said the Riyah Rishonah is Tamei anyway. But the Mishnah says, yes, he's Tamei anyway. We say he's Tamei anyway. Let's go back to our chart. But the first Riyah, we have to now, we go back and we check him. Why? Because when you're Tamei anyway, I keep highlighting that, I don't know why. Okay, that's annoying. Word, whatever. We're Tamei anyway. It said, listen, you're telling me anyway, because it's Valkyrie, no matter what. But we want to know if it's an onus. Why? Not for the second time, but for the third time, if we come back to the Korban. Let's go back to the Mishnah. We do check him, right? B'shniya bod kinoto. The second time we check him. Why the first time do we check him? Hainu davka lekorban, the Bartanura says, for the purpose of Korban. Imachmat ones. So we say you're tamei. So if you say for the first time, Einami sarefet imashlishi lekorban. So we check you. You say it's honest. All right, you'll do machmer anyway. The second time we check you, we really check you to see if you're tamei. So if the second time you're tamei, we say we'll go back to the first time, because if the first time was honest, then the third time isn't gonna count. So we check the first time. The Mishnah says because of the korban. The second time we check it shlishit, but by the third time, if 1 and 2 were zav, ein bod kinoto. Rabbi Lezer says Rabbi Lezer afu shlishit bod kinoto. Even the third time we check in because of the korban. All right, it's a long Mishnah. I really think tucked in Haziva in Masechet Zavim. Really interesting and important Mishnah. We'll stop here. Dedicate our learning, as we always do, to the memory of my father, Reb Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Comments, questions, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this Mishnah. Send me an email. Send me a WhatsApp. Telegram me. Send me a carrier pigeon. But make it a great day.